Hey, and welcome to a very special episode of Disrupt Your Now. This is the show for you if you are tired of following the herd and you want to do something different, shake things up. Disrupt Your Now is for you. And today we have an amazing disruptor, DC Glenn. You may not be familiar with his name, but I guarantee you've heard his iconic song, Whoop, There It Is, from the 90s. And DC is shaking things up. He is involved in so many things. He's got a GEICO commercial, Scoop, there it is, all kinds of really cool things. So, DC, welcome to the show and tell us a bit about your background to catch us up to where you are today.
Before we get started, I got one thing to get off my chest. Sprinkle!
Yay!
Alright, I'm ready now.
I should have had sprinkles to throw.
I hear
I,
you, I hear you.
I love that commercial. Everybody that I know loves it. So,
Yeah, I did, that's a testament because we worked very hard on that commercial, and,
mhm.
that goes back to, my childhood where my parents worked me like crazy. Like, I've been stemming collard greens and shucking peas since I was 5 years old.
Oh man.
And my mother had a prep cook for real, cleaning dishes and everything. Father made me wash the cars, cut the lawn, cut the hedges, everything. But I am so grateful because as a grown man, I do not fear work.
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the key things that has made me successful. And I had a great childhood. I got to play. We got to go wherever we want as long as we were home by dinner time.
Yep.
Always had a job, worked as a paper boy, worked as this ice cream shop, worked at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, selling Pepsis for the Denver Broncos. So
Wow.
I have always worked. And I met Steve in high school, and I actually got into their band because they had a band where they play in the quad.
Mhm.
Uh, and I actually got in the choir, and I went to my first high school party where I saw two turntables and a mixer. And I knew that I knew my path then, and I
Wow.
became very masterful at all three, and they all have all combined to make me who I am today. The creator of a song that, has lasted for 29 years, and I still get to have a career off of one record.
Mhm.
And, there's been a lot of heartache, there's been a lot of hardships, there's been a lot of things that didn't go right, but I tell people that the key to life is preparation because life is baked in the cake.
Mhm.
You can't stop it. Bad things are gonna happen, things are gonna twist, things are gonna turn, but it's about your preparation and your ability to adapt. That's what makes you successful and keeps you in the game.
Yeah.
And I've acquired the skills to be able to do that over time. And, it hasn't been easy, but I'm a type of person where I don't give up. I'm relentless. I play offense and I love to learn. Right.
Mhm.
So with those type of traits and willing to do whatever it takes as far as work to get anything done, I knew I was always going to be successful, right? And that's just how I've lived my life. And that's why today I'm an actor. I'm a voice artist. I'm still a platinum selling rapper that gets to go on tour every weekend and be a kid, right?
Ah.
I'm about to start my motivational speaking career. I'm working on a TED Talk. I'm doing so many things, but people are like, you can't do all those things, DC. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't do everything, but I sure enough can be prepared for everything. They're like, that makes sense. And I just shake my head because preparing for everything is doing everything, right?
Yeah.
Preparation is the key to all of it. I don't plant a seed unless I prepare for it. Now, I don't know how long that seed is going to take to grow, but I know that's something that I want to do that I'm willing to put the work in to achieve it. And over time, when I was younger, everybody, all the people I love, everybody, DC, you're a jack of all trades, master of none. And what people don't realize is that over time, if you don't give up, play offense, learn how to learn, you become masterful at all those trades. And they come back to serve you in ways you could have never imagined. And then you become truly ambidextrous in life, right? And there's nothing, as long as you're breathing on this earth, that you can't do. And that's my message to people. That's why I love to do podcasts or any form of media where I can run my mouth, because I've been blessed. And it's my responsibility to tell people the things that I wish somebody had told me when I was a young man. And that's why I'm here.
That's such an inspiring message. I love it. And you're so right. Be prepared,
That's
you
all.
know? Yeah.
And
Because,
if it doesn't happen, so what? You'll find that you prepared for something and it didn't really turn out the way it did, but it came back to serve you in another way later on.
right.
It's a toolbox
Yeah.
or tool shed, or I have Ace Hardware. That's how big mine is, right? So because anything happens, I have the tool for the job. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier. Um, People always tell you stay away from negative people. Well, somebody forgot to ask the question, what are the people that love you the most, or the people you love the most are the most negative?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? And it's like they're not being negative because they're hating on you. They're just they're being negative because they care, but they only know what they know,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So it gets frustrating because we all want we all want the people who we love to be our cheerleaders. And that's never going to happen. It's just not. And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Because whether you can deal with it two ways. You can look at the glass half empty and be bitter about it and combative about it, or you can look at the glass half full, where you use all that energy, right? Whether it's negative, you would think it's negative, but energy is energy. It's your choice whether you adapt and make it positive or negative.
Yeah.
So I take that negative energy, keep it inside. You do not react to it, because when you react to it, that's when you become stuck. And you keep it inside you and you let it tear you up inside. Now, most people say, you don't do that. That make you do crazy. No, you will find an outlet for it. And because you didn't react, it turns into positive energy.
Hmm.
So it could be something as simple as doing a task or reading a book, or somebody told you couldn't do something. It made you so mad that you reacted, physically, when you could have just been like, okay, how I do it. Oh, okay. You saying I can't do it? All right, watch this. That's my positive fuel. That's my fuel in my tank.
Uh,
Not not for vengeance or to get people back, but to help me.
yeah.
That positive energy is custom to me. So I welcome excuses. I welcome problems. I say thank you, because I'm going to figure it out. They call me DC, the brain supreme, for a reason.
Mhm.
I figure things out all the time. And that's my claim to fame. And that's what I love to do. So to me, as long as you're breathing, there's nothing on this earth you can't do. I promise you. It's just, now I'm not going to go try out for the NFL being 55, of course, within a reason, right? But
Yeah.
you're never, I mean, the pandemic, I can honestly say the pandemic is one of the greatest things ever happened to me, because the other side is the other side. We all know that side.
Yeah.
But the thing that helped me the most in the pandemic, because we were all forced to stop at the same time and reevaluate. And everybody asked themselves the same question: what am I going to do?
Mhm.
Are you going to be predator or prey? Because we are all in the Serengeti together, right? And you go through your list of what you can and cannot do. And I chose to reinvent myself on the microphone. And I had been doing voiceover for a long time, but then it was like, let me go back. And because I recorded all my lessons, and I started, really taking voiceover serious in 2009.
Okay.
And I was going to New York and LA, going to the best coaches, and it was just hard because my hubris as a young man, I thought I could just whoop, there it is, my way through anything, but I was wrong. Right? I thought I was so wrong, and I found out I was wrong in like March of the first month of the pandemic, because I organized all my recordings,
Hmm.
went back, listened to my first lesson. I had to hear my 10 year ago self-talk. And it was heartbreaking to hear myself talk like I was talking, because I had no clue and knew absolutely nothing. And
Hmm.
I was acting like I did. And I was blaming my coaches because I couldn't get it. And it just hurt my heart, because it was like I was actually like that. But then at the same time, it was inspirational, because I was like, wait a minute, I know what they're talking about now, because I didn't give up.
Hmm.
I kept training. When I didn't go up to New York, I trained in Atlanta. Then I got an agent, and I understood what they were trying to tell me. I didn't know the language,
Mhm.
right? And I said, let me do this first voiceover that's making my skin cringe that I'm listening to. And I recorded it, and it was simply angelic.
Ah,
It was the first time I had mastery over my voice. And I started booking instantly because everything back then, every commercial was, we're all in this together.
yeah.
COVID, right? Every voice, that was my voice. And it came around to me because I reinvented myself, figured it out. And then the next thing you know, I'm an actor as well. All that started making sense. Then I booked my first movie in Nebraska in the middle of the pandemic, then shot another movie, then shot a series of commercials for Publix, and then did a Tyler Perry House of Pain episode, and then here comes GEICO.
Oh my goodness.
I was doing this before GEICO,
Yeah.
right?
I
And
uh-huh.
because GEICO happened, it was my opportunity to show my preparation
Yeah.
because when we signed the deal for GEICO, it was like now the hard work starts because I this is an opportunity for me to make a great commercial. And I said, I'm going into this thing with 5 or 6 things that I want to imprint on this to make this our own. And the night before we did our fitting, I went to the director and the producer. I said, I got a couple ideas. Can we, you willing to listen? They're like, you do anything you want to do, DC, because they want a tag team.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I was trying to do a spin and scoop, but couldn't fabricate it. So we ain't gonna be able to do that. He's like, he'll be done tomorrow. I was like, oh. I said, well, I know kids love sprinkles. I don't know why, but I got a bunch of sprinkle things I want to do. He's like, we'll have a truckload of sprinkles, DC. Ran down my list. And the next day we shot that commercial, and those are the nuances that made that commercial fun, made that
Uh-huh.
commercial memorable, took took people back to their childhood, right?
Yeah.
In
Mhm.
different scenarios, in different parts where everybody could relate. And that was preparation for about a month.
Uh-huh.
It was supposed to be soup, there it is. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Well, let me I'm running around flipping through, the archives trying to find the soup Nazi episode of Seinfeld so I can get ideas. But the callback's like, no, we're gonna do ice cream. And Geico, the fact that Geico even happened is because, it's a testament to my not giving up because back in the day, I think 2011, I'm DJing at the clubs, and because I'm DJ, I've always been a DJ, so I always DJed at the clubs. Then we go do shows on the weekend. Just it's never stopped. And I get a call from the New York Times reporter that wanted to talk to me while I was at the club. I was like, I'm working. The record's about to go off. Let me call you. Call me tomorrow. And she was like, have you listened to the Gawker article or looked at the Gawker article? And I was like, what? And she was like, the world thinks that Barack Obama was in your video. And they took a clip. They took one frame
Mm.
of L.A. Snow, guy from a group called Deuce, and he looked just like young Barack Obama.
That's so funny.
And all my phone, I mean, if you type in Barack Obama tag team, you'll see all the press that we got.
I
ABC,
gotta go
NBC,
look.
Wall Street Journal, everything. We did it for 2 weeks. And I was so upset at the end of that 2 weeks because I didn't have a dime in my pocket to show for it.
Yeah.
And that was, those are lessons in life where you can fold or you can vow that that will never happen again and educate yourself in the ways that you won't let that happen again because that's a missed opportunity.
Wow.
And that's what started my SEO career, digital marketing career, search engine optimization, the ability to get on first page of Google, all the social media stuff. And I studied that for 10 years. And back then, if you typed in tag team, it was all wrestling. You type
Mhm.
in tag team today, it's all tag team,
Yeah.
right? And I get a call middle of the pandemic, September 2020. Hey, DC, my agent Lena, People Store Agency in Atlanta, you booked a Geico commercial. I was like, why are you playing with me? I haven't even auditioned for a Geico commercial. She was like, no, DC, they want a tag team. I was like, oh, I checked my tag team phone and there it was. And because I prepared and made all of my portals right and did everything I needed to do to be present and be found, they could have just gave up, but they didn't. They went and found me on IMDb
Mhm.
called my agent. You talk about synergy. I let my agent make the deal, and it is the most lucrative deal we have ever made in our lives.
Wow.
And, you know, it didn't stop there. So after we shoot it, I'm like, man, we can't do shows. I want to get a publicist, right?
Hmm.
Because I got to blow up acting and all this. I want the world to know about this commercial. And but this was before. And nobody wanted to work with me because we were in a pandemic. And it was like, well, we don't know what to do with a GEICO commercial. And it was like, okay, thank you. And this is another lesson for people. Whenever I get stuck, or whenever somebody tells me I can't do something, or whenever I have doubt in my mind, I go find whatever it is I want to do and type organization, association, or society after it. And I find an organization that knows what it is, right? Because organizations are filled with people who've been doing and perfecting their craft and their profession for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years and can't wait to tell you everything and give you all their knowledge, and they have all the resources. So you have just closed your knowledge cap, your learning gap tremendously.
Hmm.
And I joined the pub, I was gonna be my own damn publicist. I joined the Public Relations Society of America, PRSA. Super Bowl week, I'm on this Zoom cast with this big CEO of this PR firm, and I raised my hand. A press release is relevant. They're like, what's it for? I'm like, well, I'm kind of featured in this GEICO commercial called Scoop. There it is. What? No, that can't be him. What's he doing here? I'm looking at the chat. Man, my mother loves that commercial.
Oh,
I
that's
like
so
when the girl
funny.
just walks off. I like when you spin the scoop. And it's just like, now the whole Zoom cast with all these thousands of people on it is about me.
Oh, that's awesome.
You see what I'm saying? And the CEO tells me, yes, that press release is going to work. Because the whole last year has been about COVID. Every story. The whole last year, every story has been about politics, and everybody's tired. And here you guys come spinning scoops, throwing sprinkles in DC. You'll smile. You're going to go here for all the podcasts. You're going to go here for all the journalists. You're going to go here for all the TV talk shows. You're going to get here for all the journalists. Make sure your pitches are tight. And this lady gave me the entire breadth of her experience in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And it has opened doors for me I could have never thought possible. And it's the reason that you and I are talking right now.
That
Right?
is such great advice that I don't, I mean, I've joined associations and organizations, but I've never thought about it from that angle of if I'm stuck, let me go find this. That
Hey,
is such great advice,
I can tell
VC.
you, hey, I was trying to find writers because I needed to
Hmm.
do a lot of writing. And I do too many things. And that's where you get stuck when you have too many things. And I couldn't find writers. And I was like, let me find an organization of writers. And I joined the editorial freelance organization, which are all journalists. And was like, I'm DC tag team. I need some writers. And bam, 60 writers that day
Mm,
hit me. I have some of the best writers in the game now at a
that's so
reasonable
cool.
price. Right. So, but I'm a part of that organization. Right.
Yeah.
So now anytime I get stuck, I'm a part of every organization for acting in Georgia. I'm part of every organization that has to do with getting concerts and dealing with buyers, dealing with video, anything that I want to learn how to do. I will join an organization. I had a friend, she's like, I want to do a laundromat. I said, you've been talking about that for years. I said, I'm gonna give you a membership to an organization. Boom. She did not realize how many different ways that you can make money cleaning laundry.
Uh-huh.
There's hospitals, there's nursing homes, there's delivery, right? There's so many ways.
Hmm.
Most people think it's just a laundromat thing. It's not,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm a part of so many organizations that I will go and get the knowledge from people who have been doing it. That's what's starting my motivational speaking career, because the fact that I've done 1,000 podcasts for the last 4 or 5 years, talking every day and honing my message, seeing how people react, practicing articulation and diction,
Hmm.
right? And just basically therapy.
Yeah.
That I have become very good at motivating people or inspiring people or just having conversations with people. And I call it putting people on game, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is, I can't tell you what to do, but this is what I would do. And this is what I've done. And it works. I just did that for my niece. She does. She was in the theater during high school and built theater sets. And I gave her a whole list of every production house in Denver, Colorado. I said, get on the phone, start calling, and ask people, "Are you hiring? Can I come fill out an application?" And she was like, "Why am I?" I was like, "You don't even understand." I said, "There was always going to be somebody who quit, who got fired. There's going to be a company who is growing too fast and needs employees and needs skilled work. You
Mhm.
never know what people need. And you might be the person to call at the right time and get the money you want. And now you're cooking." Right? That's how I used to get jobs. I used to go in the yellow pages and just go to restaurants and go down to pay. Are you hiring? Are you hiring? Are you hiring? Okay, thank you. Can I fill out application? Okay. Are you hiring? Yeah, man. This dude just quit. You can get here now. All right, I'll be there. Boom. Instead of driving around town, looking at places, procrastinating. is-
Yeah.
These are practical solutions that can get you where you want to be quicker than anything else. You don't, people, there's so many narratives out there, and those narratives are designed to keep us stuck. The
Yeah.
narrative of they don't teach us that. They're not supposed to teach you anything. You got to go get it. As long as you got a phone, you can find any information you need. You have to get better at searching for it. You
Uh-huh.
have to be, you have to become a better Easter egg hunter.
Yeah, now the Easter's coming.
Yeah, you
That
have to, you have to become a better treasure hunter, right? And
uh,
that's what I do. And the only way that happens if you join organizations where you got 1,000 people who make $1 million a year and they can tell you exactly how to do what you want to do. That's why I'm a motivator. I'm dealing with I've got mentors that make a lot of money that I'm under their wing, and they're teaching me how to put my craft together to go to do keynote speeches, to do
mhm,
whatever, because they know that I have something special. And they know that, I've been on stage. I perform every weekend in front of 20,000 people. That
mhm,
means something. I've been doing that for 30 years. I've been doing it all my life.
yeah.
So this is not a stretch for me to get in front of General Motors and get everybody hyped for the convention that they're at, or be the keynote for, a certain convention, right?
Mhm,
And get paid a astronomical amount of money, right? So
yeah.
I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to my whole game is mastery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be masterful at things that I do,
You
or
know,
have a mastery.
I love that you're applying your skill and talent in so many ways because most people look at it as a silo and they have no idea where all of their talents, all of their experience, all the different ways
Mhm.
that it can be applied. And you're just dealing that stuff out in
Yeah,
all different kinds of
because
ways.
think about it. All the things I do are things you're gonna need, but you
Yeah.
can't do them all, but you can learn about them all.
Uh-huh.
If you learn about them all and I know how to code. I've spent the last 2 years just coding.
Hmm.
It's taken me that long, but now I can teach other people to do little mundane tasks that would take, instead of it taking me, 2 days to do something, it takes me 2 hours because I got prep cooks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the key, is to develop a army of prep cooks that can get your ingredients ready for you to just come in and cook, because that's
Uh,
what you're good at. That's how I look at everything.
that's a great analogy.
Yeah, because that chef had to start where those people had to start,
Yeah.
right? And I want it to be hard because I know nobody else is going to want to do it, and I understand I'm going to suck at the beginning, but how long you suck is up to you. And
Yeah.
that's where acting came in. I was on a people store for voiceover. I wasn't even thinking about acting, but I was up there one day and the owner came in, beautiful Miss Rebecca Schrager, and introduced herself. And she's like, "I love your face. Put him on camera." And I was like, "What's that mean?" He's like, "Man, that'll never happen. So you got to get headshots and go to class." Start going to acting class. Then I got addicted. And it took me all but 3 months before I booked my first commercial,
Wow.
because I know how to go find the information I need. That's the easy part. The hard part and the challenging part is to put in the work.
Yeah.
Got to do the work. And I tell, everybody goes through this thing in acting where acting is your job as an actor is to be rejected over and over and over and over and over again. And if that messes you up or that affects you in ways that you can't handle, then that's not for you. But the minute you accept that you're not going to get the job, one of my coaches taught me this. You're not going to get the job. So you might as well go just have fun. Just put in the work, right? And if I got to do it, so my mindset is if I got to do 1,000 auditions to get to where I want to be, well, can I do 50 a day? Right? Like I'm willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And like I said, now I stand before you, 5 movies in, 5 TV shows in, auditioning constantly and just expanding. And the fact that I'm mastered so many different things, my life is full because I get to do a little bit of a whole bunch of cool things.
Uh-huh.
And they all work together in synergy. That's why I have to say no to a lot of things because if it doesn't fit, you said silo earlier, and it is a silo, but you can have things that branch off inside that silo. That's what
Right.
SEO is,
Uh-huh.
right? You when you build a website, you want it to be a silo. You don't want to go get everything. You want it to be, you want Google to know that this is what this is. This page is about. That's the
Yep.
site. Not about the other pages on your site. Talking on this page, just this one page is this.
Yeah.
Nothing else can come in. Now, if it's related to it and it's not that, then you can branch off and do other things, but it's still within that silo.
Mhm.
So I just have my silo of, I just love education. I love to learn. I love figuring out ways to do different things because people don't understand that, life is custom to you, right? There is no traditional way to do it. It's
Mhm.
how you make it. There's a different everybody's success. If you talk to any actor, any rapper, any musician, everybody's success story is different.
Mhm.
There is no one way that everybody became an actor or even an entrepreneur, even a successful businessman. Everybody's story is different. So why not come with the approach of doing things differently and seeking out different approaches and trying different things and coming up with new recipes to make it custom to you, right? Because that's
Mhm.
what it's about. And I think I've done that in a way that's very effective. And I will never stop honing that skill. That skill is not even, I haven't even scratched the surface. And
Uh-huh.
that's why the pandemic was special to me because it made me realize that, in our lives, we often think we've made mistakes and we look back on them and cringe. And we often think we have so many missed opportunities and we sit and we dwell on them forever and we beat ourselves up. And I got to give you an analogy. 1994, I'm in the bowels of Disney, and I, DC Glenn, am teaching the voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse how to rap. Now that sentence is an iconic sentence. What I just said. I'm teaching them how to rap. They're telling me about animation. So effectively, my voiceover career started that day.
Huh.
But because I'm Whoomp, there it is. I'm like, okay, I'm not really thinking about that. And I beat myself up for years because I was there.
Yeah.
I didn't have the mindset of taking one opportunity and turning it into 10, right? Because when you're young and something good happens for you, you think it's going to last forever.
Mhm.
It's natural. Youth is wasted on the young, promise you. And I beat myself up for years, but now I'm a working voice actor, right? 1995, I'm sitting in the office of New Line Cinema, president and my manager, they went to college together. He's telling me about a movie where Wesley Snipes and LL Cool J are fighting for the lead. He's like, I want to cast you for this. I think you'll be good for this. I'm like, yeah, talk to my agent. He's like, no, it's going to be a good movie. The movie's called Blade. I beat myself up for years because I was there,
Ah.
right?
Yeah.
But my Aunt Judy always says this. She says, baby, sometimes in life, we're just not ready. And that's okay. You don't put an apple pie in the oven and try to eat it after 20 minutes, right? Sometimes in life, we're just not ready. And look at me now. I am a working actor
Mhm.
auditioning. I get 70 auditions a year.
Wow.
I am a working actor all the way. So
And
Go
And
ahead.
another thing that's so cool about what you have built and what you're building is you can constantly adapt, you can constantly
Yeah,
change as your life evolves
the
because
preparation.
you love what you do. So
Mhm.
chances are you're going to want to be doing something forever. You're not going to ever be the type to just sit
Mm.
there and
And
watch
and and
TV.
and and this is by design because I know it kills people, right?
Mhm.
From I know that pride kills men like the plague,
Yeah.
and pride and ego and emotions, right? And I know that my whole goal now is just to, I've become very effective at killing my pride and sequestering my ego. I will not argue with people because and I love to be wrong. I'm like, what? That don't make no sense. I love to be wrong because it's the path to being right. Now my mind is truly open to every possibility, right?
Ooh.
And I'll let people argue themselves into that rabbit hole of untruth, and then they start believing it, right? And I'm over here, well, this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea because I'm not caught up in my feelings, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not caught up in my ego. Now, inside, I'm dying. "Oh, I was wrong. Ah, right? But if you don't react to it, it leaves you and it turns into positive energy. I promise you.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament to my parents and just my upbringing that I was able to even put all that together. But I've watched pride kill people. So therefore, I vowed to never be like that. I vowed to have an open mind. And I tell people all the time, you can do anything on this earth as long as you're breathing. And
Uh-huh.
I really understood this after the pandemic because everybody was scared. And I vowed that I am not going to leave this earth regretting something I wanted to do that I did not do.
Yeah.
So now I've got tutors for everything. I
Well,
I go to all the tutor sites. Why is that? They could be teaching high school students. If it's something I want to learn, I will learn it because I don't. You get one life,
uh-huh.
right? And the choices you make are how that life goes.
Yeah.
And everything is not going to go your way, and that's fine, right? But I choose to deal with solutions, right? Because if people come to me with problems, complaining, boom, 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 I'll be like, well, what's the solution? What? They can't even tell me what the solution is because they're so just
They're so focused on the problem.
being a pig in their own slop of
Yeah.
whatever there is. I'm like, look, what do you want to do? So I said, well, this is what I do. I think of the most pie in the sky, far fetched, fantastical solution. They're like, you can't do that. I was like, yeah, I can't do it, but I see it. Maybe if I come back an inch, you still can't do it. Come back a little bit more. Hey, wait a minute. You're halfway doing that now.
Mhm.
Come back a little bit more. Wait a minute. You're doing that now. So if you added this and did that and went and got the help to do this, and you're back here, it's like, wait a minute. That's what I'm doing now. And what you have effectively done is you've created a reverse business plan with a step ladder to your goals and dreams.
Mm.
Because you have worked your way back from your dream, your pie in the sky, the thing that seems so far away. You've worked your way back to practicality.
Uh,
Now each step is possible. Now it's time to put in the work. That's the key. And people are like, man, that's too hard. I said, it's never gonna be easy.
yeah.
I said, I've been doing this a long time and it isn't easy. It never will be easy. It is all easier said than done. It will never, ever, ever, ever be easy, but it does get better. That's all you can hope for.
If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. And
Exactly.
what
You know that's not happening.
Yeah, and you know what you said a couple minutes ago about life, it reminds me of what my friend BK Fulton said, the founder of
Mhm.
Solidify. He said, "Life is meant to be used up." In
Oh,
other words, don't just sit around and not go for what you wanna do.
ride it till the wheels fall off and
Yeah.
still keep riding it.
Well, I have a suggestion for something you can do because your voice is like velvet. And I'm
Mhm.
sitting here hypnotized. I'm laughing inside going, DC needs to start like these meditation videos and hypnosis
I do
videos.
stuff like I do all across the board with any type of voiceover,
Yeah.
right? I'll do movie trailer. I can do,
Uh-huh.
this week on NBC. I can do just regular commercial,
You just
Tell
have an amazing it's
you know,
beautiful.
but I had to train. Do you know how long it took for me to even get to this point? Because I was just a DJ yelling, radio
Mhm.
guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This week, every Wednesday night. Like that's my DJ voice, but can't use that at voiceover.
Yeah.
Voiceover is the ability to be present in the moment and talk in a conversational tone to sell a product because you're having a talk with a friend.
Yeah.
These widgets are the greatest ever. I'm telling you, I used a couple of these widgets last week, and man, right? That's voiceover, and I've
Well,
become very effective at it. And the voiceover has led to me being a better actor because the key that changed my acting, I'll never forget it. It was Natalia Livingston. People have been telling me, "Be present, do this, do that, all of this stuff," and she did it. She was so simple. She said, "DC, why are you talking loud?" She said, "You have a microphone on your chest.
uh-huh.
It picks up everything. You could actually whisper." I was like, "Oh." And in life, sometimes you don't get it the first 15 times,
Yeah.
but it's that 16th time that brings it all together. And now, if you look next time you're watching TV, you'll see that most actors are basically whispering.
Mm,
They're
yeah.
just whispering. They're talking like this, right? Because they can talk like that, and it just so visceral.
Well, you know, I wanna say on a personal level, um, your song, it brings back so many
Mhm.
great family memories for me because, we were there in Jacksonville, Florida when we got the
Ooh,
Jacksonville Jaguars, and
yeah.
we were inaugural season ticket holders. My kids were like 4 and 6, 5 and 7. So all these games, whoop, there it is, and it's just like just hearing that song can transport me back to such wonderful
Nostalgia
memories.
is the most powerful thing we have.
Mhm.
Like, you always I don't wonder, I know why. I know why people can't stand the music of young people, because we were the same way. People
Yeah.
couldn't stand our music because that is when life is the best, and those are the best memories you're gonna make, and there's
Uh-huh.
always a song attached to it.
Yeah.
And in the '90s, that what we it just when we came along, I think we came along at a great time, and it's 30 years later, and I have made a career off of one song.
It's hard to believe it's been that long. It seems
Mhm.
like it was just last decade to
I
me
know, and
almost.
it is 1993, and the key to it is that you can never give up,
Uh-huh.
and you can't expect people to do anything for you.
Yeah.
I knew that I had a forever hit record when I'm sitting in a movie theater looking at Will Ferrell dance on the table to Elf. Now it's up to me to get my money.
Uh-huh.
Nobody can go get my money but me, because if you're waiting on people to do that for you, you're gonna be waiting, because
Uh-huh.
you know what you gotta do. It's just about work. It's about to get acquiring the tools, learning how to run your life like a corporation, learning how to just be able to network and find people who can get you where you need to be.
Mm.
So I just, I appreciate you letting me come on here and run my mouth, because I learned more by just running my mouth. I came up with like 5 or 6 more hustles today.
Ah, I just love you're just full of so many lessons, number 1. Number 2, like I said a minute ago, I could just listen to your voice forever. So, but you just have so many lessons and ideas that other people have not put forward that I mean, it's common sense,
Practical.
DC.
It's practical.
Everybody else wants to spout off, whatever, gobbledygook,
They try to
and you're just
they try to make it slick and attach words to it, right?
Mhm.
And no, it has to make the you know how they say it like if I was a layperson. You have to make it so simplistic and
Yeah.
so like, oh my gosh, and related to something that everybody has been through in their life, right?
Mhm.
The things that I've talked about, we've all been through.
Yeah.
We've all faced the doubt. We've all argued with people who would rather win an argument than admit that they're wrong. We all have done these things, right? We all have, and like I said, when traumatic things happen to me in my life, I vow that they'll never happen again. It's funny because I haven't told, like, I have this analogy where, you know, they try to blame instant gratification on young people.
Yeah.
I said, that was a lie. Old folks everybody wants it fast.
That's
Nobody
right.
wants to work for it. I said, don't put that on young people. If
Yeah.
anything, young people are more willing to work for it. They just don't want to work the way you want to work because it's a different day.
Exactly.
I said, you have to, I said, the reason people are always stuck because, for me, I've acquired the ability to take any emotion: hate, fear, envy, anger, disgust, despair, loathing. I sound like Yoda. And, I just sequester it and turn it into positive energy, right? I don't let it affect me. And the reason I do that, because most people want it so fast, they're not willing to do that. And my analogy is, you don't plant a seed and then sit down and be like, okay, seed, I need you to grow. Okay, seed, please
Yeah.
grow. Come on, seed, grow. Man, this seed don't work. I quit. How many people we know like that? Right.
Yeah.
And what people don't understand is that you plant that seed and you keep it moving. You
Mhm.
go plant other seeds, right? Because you don't know how fast that seed is going to grow. You don't know if it's a tree or shrub. You don't know whether it's wheat. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm just like, you can't do that. It's like, well, how do you know? I was like, well, I can tell you how I know. 28 years ago, I planted a seed called Whoomp. There it is. And now it is a sequoia. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But
And
when it's going to come back and when a branch is going to hit you in the head and give you that opportunity that you learned about because you planted that seed.
yeah.
You've already prepared for it because it's what you wanted. So your drive to achieve that goal is there. But if you just plant seeds and they don't work and then you forget about them, then you have you have a whole crop. You never have a harvest,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You never have a harvest. And I have a harvest every year because I work my butt off.
I love it.
Hmm.
So when you hooked up with GEICO and the Martin agency, did they hear about you, like, or hear you in voiceover? Is that how they thought about
They
bringing you
had
in?
no clue. Nobody has no clue. I go on movie sets and people don't know who I am. Nobody
Yeah.
knows who I am, but I do that but that's how you carry yourself. I carry myself that way. I don't want anybody to know who I am because
But so
I
how did they reach out to you to sign you to do it then?
yeah,
Without
so they one of the I forgot his name, but he had they have little pods, right?
yeah.
And they always coming up with Geico commercials, and somebody had an idea because they loved tag team when they was growing up. It
Oh,
was a nostalgia
okay.
thing again.
Yeah.
And they developed it, and it was like, give them a call. We want to do it. They pulled the
Okay,
trigger.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So they have these little deposits that develop these things, and then you just have meetings and you have pitch decks and you keep going till you come to something that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they sign off on it, Geico signs off on it, and then you reach out. So they reached out and didn't catch me. But like I said, because I prepared everything,
Mhm.
they found me.
Found you.
They found tag team.
And I
And
have
that's the key,
mhm.
right? If you can't be found, right? Nobody's gonna look for you.
Right.
And the same with how I carry myself. I you know I have relationships with both of those companies because I put in work to develop the relationship with both of those companies, right?
Mhm.
I got relationships with um, all of the marketing agencies. Adweek we were on the cover of Adweek magazine for commercial of the year. Now I have a value add out of this world. So I can go into any boardroom and say, hey, you got to listen to me because I'm on the cover.
Yeah.
Biggest trade magazine in the world.
That's amazing.
Give me my money, right? and,
Sorry.
and to find the numbers, I had to go to Nielsen. So I got relationships with Nielsen and all their companies down the chain. So if I need to put together a presentation that shows who I am, I can. I
Okay.
don't have to talk about it. I could just put down a pitch deck and they'll know who I am,
Mhm.
right? But I never tell people who I am. And it works so good because it's like I told them who I was because they respond to me kindly.
Yeah.
And then once they find out who I am, they're upset. Why didn't you tell me? It's like, because I don't roll like that.
Yeah.
You'll never know who I am unless I decide to tell you.
Uh-huh.
Now, I could turn it on whenever I want, but I don't need it. I don't desire it. And I think that's what just hurts people, is that they can't take not being in the limelight, not being a
Mm.
star, not getting that attention. People need the attention that bad, and I don't need any attention.
Yeah.
I've got my spouse is my knowledge, is my thirst for learning. I want to learn everything. I'm coding. I'm about to get back to code. I'm looking at this code right now. That's just giving me fits. Right. But every turn I'm figuring it out,
Yeah.
and it helps me. And I'm just becoming masterful at it because that's what it takes. So, but then I got to stop that, and I got to work on another show because we got another show next week, and this and that. And then an audition will come in, and then an acting audition will come in. I got to do that. So my life is fun, but sometimes I'm a little tired. I'm not
Yeah.
a spring chicken anymore.
Hey, I'm older than you are.
Hey, but and then that comes back to, you got to be healthy.
That's right.
Today I said I'm going to the gym, and I'm going to be in there for a long time because I got to get back to where I got to get back to where I was, where I'm not as tired. So we got
Yeah.
to get back right, because life is hard, especially when you're running. You know what I
y-
mean? You might forget to do some things, and then we all know how that goes. So
Yeah.
do the best you can, and you just keep going and keep pushing. And I just don't want to become stubborn, old, and bitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I want, people be like, man, you don't seem like you that age. Nah, because I'm hustling
Uh-huh.
forever. So
Yeah. Excuse me. Well, I appreciate you so much coming on here. Being able to speak with you is just amazing. The lessons that you have brought, and there are a lot of people who don't think about musicians and artists as being entrepreneurs. So
mhm.
just having you on here as a well-known artist, and for them to be able to see that that's not magic. Acting and
Oh,
music and
no.
everything isn't acting, isn't magic. You have to work your butt off and
It's
make it
grueling.
happen.
It's grueling. It really
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
mentally and physically, right? But when you achieve your goal, you laugh at all that pain you went through, and
Hmm.
you appreciate it.
Yeah.
So it's just, it always ends up in a positive light.
Love
And
it.
that's what pushes you forward to the next thing, and the next thing,
Hmm.
and the next thing, and then, because in life you have levels, and at certain ages, if you just look for them, there are so many things that you can learn about, things that nobody else can learn about, because they're young, but they'll never have what I have,
Hmm.
which is experience.
Yeah.
Experience and me knowing what they know, I run circles around them. I mean, that's just what it is. Experience is everything.
That's right.
So, not experiences, experience. Because
Yeah.
experience is acting on your experiences and learning from them. So that's how I do it. And like I said, I want to thank you for having me on. I got to get back to work.
Yeah.
I'd like to say hello to your audience. I hope you got something out of my talk today. If you just got one thing, apply it. Go join the organization. If there's something you want to do, nobody can stop you.
You have just been a fountain of knowledge, but tell them how they can find you.
All right. So this is an SEO lesson. When you're on social media, every platform you're on should be the same. So for me, DC Glenn ATL is across the board. Tag
Mhm.
team is tag team Whoomp across the board. Hashtag at whatever.
Uh-huh.
Then Google picks you up and places you everywhere,
Yeah.
and everybody can find you.
So, anybody out there who's looking for a great voiceover artist, great motivational speaker, anything, go Google for DC Glenn. And I just thank you so much for being here, DC, and sharing your
Mhm.
knowledge and experience with us. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks a
good evening.
lot.
Bye bye.
Good luck with everything. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Mhm.
Thanks. Bye.